What's up, everyone? How are we doing? I have a Black 2 White 2 battle here for you against Noah, otherwise known as NoJNP. And I'm using a team which I built with the Fizz, the Fizzy Stardust, and I think Nick had a little bit of input, but it was mainly Fizz and I. And we got a nice team going on here against his nice team going on there. As you can see, I'm using Breloom, I'm using Tech Breloom, and some other cool stuff like Cafagragus with Nick's set, which is very nice. But yeah, we have a game. We had it earlier today, and a bit of a comedy of errors this one. Quite a few mistakes on my part, which I'll kind of point out as the battle goes on, and I really just made my job a lot more difficult than it really should have been by doing that. So we start off with Keldeo versus my Cafagragus, and I think that I can take a Hydro Pump well enough, so I decided to stay in Will-O-Wisp just so I can Hex it maybe on the following turn, and depending on how well I take the Hydro Pump, see what happens. I actually dodged the first one, which is nice, and then he goes for the second one, which is going to do just over half to me, and I'm not kind of sure about damage variation here and everything, but I'm thinking that maybe I can live a second, and because of that I decide to stay in. Now what I should have really done is just gone straight to Vaporeon, taken the Hydro Pump because of, Water Absorb and everything, and kept Cafagragus alive, because Cafagragus was really useful for his Breloom, because his Breloom obviously has Spore, and something has to go to sleep on my team, and my Cafagragus has Sleep Talk, so it is the perfect thing to go in and take a Spore, but I just let it die to this Keldeo, to the Hydro Pump. For some godforsaken reason, I don't know why, I don't know how, but it happens, and I am very frustrated that, I didn't have that thing in the match because it would have helped me so much. So I go into Vaporeon now expecting him to be choiced because I thought he was kind of locked in on Hydro Pump there. Turns out that he isn't, and that he doesn't take Life Orb Recoil either, so it turns out he's probably running Expert Belt, which is very interesting on Keldeo, and, he bluffed it well enough to the point at which I thought I was safe bringing Vaporeon in. Clearly I wasn't, because I take a super effective Hidden Power to the face, and I'm now faced with the threat of a Breloom. I actually decided to roar there because I thought that he would switch out, but turns out to be a really poor play, because now obviously Breloom is going to outspeed me, be able to put me to sleep, and I really have nothing else to go to. I was saying, of course, that if I had Cafagragus still alive, it could have been the sleep fodder, and Vaporeon would have been awake. Vaporeon's going to need to be awake because it's actually going to be quite a key player in the rest of this game. Unfortunately, it is asleep now, and I'm going to have to go to something to combat this Breloom. I decided to go into my Landorus Tiger form, my Catdorus, of course, and this is a special set made by Fizz and I, which is got lots of special EVs put into it and things. It's a rock polish set, which has Stone Edge, Earthquake, and Hidden Power Ice, just to combat those Gliscors and those opposing Landoruses and other stuff like that. But he has just your standard Breloom. Thankfully, he doesn't have Tech Loom. I think Tech Loom would have been a little bit of more trouble for me, but he does have just standard Loom with Focus Punch and Sub and Spore and everything. And thankfully, because obviously I got the Intimidate on him as I switched in, Focus Punch isn't going to do so much damage. It's going to leave me at over half, which means now that I can go for the Hidden Power Ice. Now, the reason I went for Earthquake on the first turn was kind of to show him this is the only thing I have to break your sub, kind of lure him into a false sense of security so that he would stay in to take the Hidden Power Ice, which is exactly what happens, because now he does stay in, thinking he can take an Earthquake, and thinking that I'm probably going to want to switch out, and therefore goes for the Stone Edge instead, and ends up obviously with me in the beneficial area, because I not only get the Hidden Power Ice off, I'm able to sponge the Stone Edge thanks to the Intimidate, and I'm also able to take him out with an Earthquake on the following turn. Now, he's going to bring in his Keldeo now, and this is where me just killing this thing off with Vaporeon in the first place, instead of roaring it out, would have really come in handy, because it wouldn't have been able to come in, and it wouldn't have been able to go for the Aqua Jet, which I didn't see coming whatsoever. I just expected him to go for, Hidden Power or whatever to finish me off, but it turns out that he's going for Aqua Jet, and he has, Expert Belt mixed Keldeo going down, which is, to be perfectly honest, I like the set. I think it's very cool that what he's done with it, and, props to him for doing so. But I'm going to bring in Scarf T-Tar now, which is going to be able to finish the thing off with a crunch. Kind of thinking maybe go for the Pursuit because he might want to keep Keldeo, but I thought, at this point, he probably thinks he can just outspeed me and I'm just going to T-Tar for some weird reason. But, obviously, Crunch is able to take it out, so that works out in my favor. So, I go into Heatran now. Obviously, Jirachi can't do too much to Heatran unless it wants to paralyze, flinch me for 200 turns in a row, which would be a very slow way and painful way to die. But fortunately for me, he's not not going to, paralyze me or anything. But the bad news is that he's going to U-turn straight out into his Tyranitar. And here is another really bad play that I make. I decide to stay in and go for the Stealth Rock, just sacrificing my Heatran to this Tyranitar, knowing that he's probably going to carry Earthquake, and that's probably the reason he brought it in the first place, which is really bad. I should have protected to scout for the Earthquake to begin with. He may even have had the superpower. I didn't know at that point in time, and he may even have been able to outspeed me. I didn't know. It was very reckless on my part, just going for Stealth Rock, where Stealth Rock really wasn't even a big factor to play in this match in the beginning anyway, and I should have just, gone out to something, protected, and then switched accordingly, because I really needed Heatran to take on Jirachi. So I'm making my job really difficult for myself now, and I see that the only way I'm going to get around his team is by getting Breloom to be set up. The only way that Breloom's going to be able to sweep his guys is if I get rid of this Latias, and if I get rid of his own Landorus cat form, because he does have a Landorus cat form in the wings, ready to come in and kind of destroy me whenever he so pleases. So I managed to get the Latias to sleep, which is fantastic. That thing is kind of neutralized for the moment, so Breloom won't have as much of a big deal dealing with it. And so at this point, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to have to do something about this Catdurus right now, because it's really going to cause me a lot of issues if I don't kind of just be able to deal with it. And I knew it was going to switch in here, not only to get the Intimidate, but also to probably just, capitalize on me not being able to kill him. So I decide to go into my Tyranitar, see he has leftovers, which means that I know I can now go for the Stone Edge and outspeed him, and be able to take him down to a range where maybe Breloom will be able to kill it with a Mach Punch after a boost. So that's what I do. And it turns out he's running a Rock Polish Landorus as well. So this is not looking good for me whatsoever, because now he's going to be able to go for the Earthquake and kill my T-Tar. I was kind of expecting him to just kill it off straight away anyways, but now that he has the Rock Polish, I can't really bring anything else in to outspeed it. Well, in the first place, I wouldn't be able to outspeed him anyway, because I didn't really have anything that would do the job. But at this point, things are just turning south really, really badly. I think all I have left is Breloom and the freaking water fucking Vaporeon. That's why. So in the end, Rock Polish doesn't actually make a big difference. It just kind of delays the inevitable, really. But I go into Breloom knowing I can take a Hidden Power Ice well, but just because of what my Hidden Power Ice did to his Breloom, I know I can take one. So I go in for the Swords Dance, knowing at this point that I can probably be able to pick him off with a Mach Punch, even though he resists it at this point. He's just over half health. Mach Punch should be able to take Landorus down, and I'm hoping that that is the case, because +2 is a nice amount. The only trouble with Breloom at this point is because I have Sand set up. I'm kind of on a time bomb here. It's ticking down. Breloom only has a specific amount of time to live because of Sandstorm constantly chipping away at it. So he goes into the Latias to sponge the Mach Punch very well, and at this point I'm thinking, he's probably going to just predict me to Mach Punch again, so he's probably going to go straight back into his Landorus to intimidate me, not only to cut my attack by one stage and leaving me with only +1, but also to sponge the Mach Punch and hopefully live it. So I decide to go for the Bullet Seed on this turn, thinking that he may well try to do that, and he does, goes into the Landorus, so I manage to get the Bullet Seed off, and I'm able to kill the Landorus with 2 hits, I believe. I do still have this +1 going for me, so it's not going to be too much of an issue, and 2 hits is the minimum amount, so I would have really killed him anyway, and he goes down. Very good. I'm happy about that. So now all I have to worry about is his Jirachi, his Tyranitar, and his thing, which is the other guy. I can't even remember what it's called now, but I'm an idiot. Anyway, he brings in, the Latias is it, brings in Rachi, and my only real way to get around this Rachi, and to get around his team in general, is to go to Vaporeon, hopefully wake up, hopefully get off a Wish, and once the Wish is off, I'll be able to pass it to Breloom, who can then Swords Dance on something like this Jirachi, because I have a Lumberry, so I don't mind if he paralyzes me, and then be able to sweep the rest of his guys with Mach Punch, / Bullet Seed, / whatever. So, go into Vaporeon, really bad switch in, because he crits me with the Body Slam first of all, and then he's able to hit the U-turn and get the hell out of dodge, while I kind of stay in here hoping for a wake up on this turn. Obviously, I'm not going to get it on this turn because it's the first turn I've been brought in. But the next turn, I'm hoping T-Tar won't be able to kill me, I'm thinking, just because I don't know, it seems more defensive than offensive, and I think that he's probably just going to want to try and hit me with a safe move like Earthquake as opposed to risking the Stone Edge. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I see leftovers, and I see that I'm faster than T-Tar, so as long as I wake up on this turn, I should be good to go getting the Wish up. Unfortunately for me, I don't wake up on that turn. He gets the Earthquake off, but it's really coming down to the wire here because I live the Earthquake on 30. Not only do I live the Earthquake, I'm also able to live the Sandstorm damage on 2 HP after Lefty's back to 30. But I really need to wake up this turn because if I don't, Wish won't be able to go up in the air and Breloom will not be able to receive it on the following turn. So I do not wake up, and at this point, things are seeming dire because he can easily go for the Earthquake and take me out. But he doesn't. He goes for the Stealth Rock, thinking that maybe I would wake up and Wish and trying to stop my plans by getting Stealth Rock up and being able to neutralize Breloom when it comes in, because then it would not be able to live the switch in, is what he's thinking. So I do finally wake up, finally manage to get the Wish off, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm set here. This is fine. I can do this as long as things go well in my direction. I can be able to just get rid of all the stupid mistakes I made in this game and be able to win. So I get the Wish up, go into Breloom, live the Stealth Rock switch in, go for the Mach Punch, and I'm thinking, okay, I can do something here because I'm going to get the Wish on the next turn, be back at full health, Swords Dance on the Jirachi, go for the Mach Punch, finish it off, but wouldn't you believe it, Sandstorm goes before Wish. So, ladies and gentlemen, because of the way that the meta game plays, not the meta game, but the way that the game plays me, unfortunately, Sandstorm is going to kill me before I'm able to receive the Wish, which means I can't Swords Dance on the Jirachi, which means I can't kill the Latias, which means I can't kill any of them because I just died. So there you go. It was a very close one in the end. It shouldn't have been that close. As long as I'd kept things like Cofagrigus alive, I shouldn't have had too much of a problem. But I made lots of mistakes and lots of errors of judgment, which caused me to be backed into a corner which I couldn't really get out of. But in the end, that's what happens. Sometimes you can't really do anything about it. And there you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will hopefully have another Black 2, White 2 battle tomorrow. I've been trying to get as many good ones as I can. It's very difficult because not many people have it. Not many people have Wi-Fi with it anyway. And, just finding good people to play is tough. So I'll try and do that as much as I can. Otherwise, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like. That would help me out immensely. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.